within its means and to lighten our punitive tax burden. And these will be our first priorities, and on these principles there will be no compromise.
I can hear you. I can hear you. The rest of the world hears you. And the people who knock these buildings down will hear all of us.
Never give in. Never, never, never. In nothing, great or small, large or petty, never give in except to convictions of honor and good sense. Never yield to force. Never yield to the apparently overwhelming might of the enemy.
But I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land. So I'm happy tonight. I'm not worried about anything. I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. We declare our right on this earth to be a man, to be a human being, to be respected as a human being, to be given the rights of a human being in this society, on this earth, in this day, which we intend to bring into existence by any means necessary.
Apostle Claver T. Kamau-Imani on RagingElePhantsRadio.com.
Hey, what's up, Saints and Patriots? Apostle Claver T. Kamau-Imani, RagingElePhantsRadio.com, the rebellious voice of Texas liberty. And those of you that are watching via Facebook.com/RagingElePhantsRadio, or if you're watching by the RER video YouTube channel, yes, I have placed upon my head once again Texans gear, the Texans logo. It took this long to repair the damage that first round loss in the playoffs to the Colts did to the internals of my soul. I'm just too embarrassed. So the first thing you will notice, I am representing H-Town once again as far as the Texans are concerned. Took a while, baby. Woo, that hurt. Hey guys, a great program today. One of your favorites, RER contributor that watches the neo-morality movement, Forrest Tracy Shannon's going to be here. And Pastor Stephen Broden, Raging Elephants Radio contributor, member of the State Republican Executive Committee and Texas Black Republican PAC. Oh, we've got a lot to talk about, like we did with Eugene yesterday, as far as the Democratic Party is concerned. And not just in Virginia. Not just the mess in Virginia, but all over the United States, including right here in the great state of Texas. Okay. I'm going to do something very odd right now. As you guys know, I mean, I'm a fan of the markets. I'm a fan of capitalism. I can't wait for Texas to be an independent republic again, because just like we discussed with Daniel Miller a couple of days ago, when you think about all the fantastic things that we would have as an independent republic. Yeah, it's great to watch the markets, but it would be greater if we were watching the Texas equity markets, the Texas commodity markets, the Texas currency markets, bond market. That would be much more fun, and we would make much more money. So I want to talk about the markets for a moment. Now, oddly enough, all of you ladies out there, now you're not surprised. You're not going to be surprised by this. I'm actually, yours truly, multiply named one of the hottest conservative men in America, primarily, I'm sure, not because of my international model face, but because of my unquestioned, exquisite taste in fashion. No, I'm always the best dressed guy in the room. Is anybody out there, can anybody give me one example of any public event especially a Republican public event, where if yours truly entered the room, my threads were popping. I'm the man. It's been that way for decades. It's been that way since high school and college. I'm gonna be the best dressed guy in the room. And I don't care if you've got a multi-million-dollar bank account. You probably don't have any style. There just aren't many men that have proper style these days. They don't. They could pull up in a McLaren and get out looking like a ragamuffin. It's inexplicable to me. So as far as the markets go, in relation to fashion, of all things, there's this saying that as hemlines go, women's skirt lengths go, so goes the market. Low hemlines, market isn't going to do well. Micro mini skirts, we're going to get a bubble, .com bubble. That's what we're going to get. We're going to get a real estate bubble. Financial crisis is what we're going to get when you get the micro minis. That's sort of the lore of the markets, right? It's sort of a urban legend almanac kind of thing. Hem lengths go up, market's going to go up. Hem lengths go down, market's going to go down. I've got examples. Now, you guys remember the Roaring Twenties, right? The Roaring Twenties, the flappers, the short skirts, the whole 9 yards, right? Then all of a sudden the Depression came and skirts got right back down to the ankles. Now, I've got some examples to show you, okay? Let's go back to the late 1970s. Late 1970s. Now, look at this. This is the late 1970s. There it is on the screen. You can see it right there, facebook.com/Raging Elephants Radio if you're looking at the live video stream. You can see it right there. Look at the skirt lengths. This is the late 1970s. This is the Carter years, and the stock market was pathetic. And as a legs man since the first grade, seeing skirt lengths like that is very depressing. Never mind the economy, never mind the stock market. Seeing skirt lengths like that, it's just depressing. What legged man wants to live in a society with skirt lengths down to the ankle? I've been a legs man since the first grade, and my first grade teacher, Miss St. Peters, walked into the room. She was long-legged. I've been dead ever since. I'm a sold out 100% legs man ever since Miss St. Peters in first grade. Okay, so that's the 1970s. All right, let's go next. 1980s, the go-go 80s. Now remember how the economy was during the Carter years. Oh my goodness, the gas lines. Does anybody remember the gas lines where you had to get gas based on the last number of your license plate? What was it? Odd numbers were Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Even numbers were Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, something like that, right? Well, look at the skirts. Tight, way above the knee. And as you know, in the 1980s, the go-go 80s, especially with the Reagan excessive and well-needed tax cuts, mandatory tax cuts to get the economy going, look at the skirts. And the market just took off. All right. So now you got the Clinton years, and the market was still going, and you got a bubble. And look at the hot pants, not necessarily Daisy Dukes, although 1990s was, I think, a Daisy Duke type of decade there. And you got the skirt, okay? It's about the same, a little bit higher, a little bit more casual, a little bit more loose in the 1990s. And the market essentially was doing well until, of course, the dot-com burst and recession. And then, of course, the attack on 9/11, 2001 that just sent the market plummeting. But ever since then, and even after the financial crisis, that the Great Recession, skirt lengths kind of stayed up, and the market kept going up. The market kept going up. Now, I've got bad news. I've got bad news, I think, for the market, and I think I've got bad news for us legsmen. Because the fashions for 2017, spring and fall, are utterly depressing. I'm not looking forward to it at all. I just recently got engaged. Oh, by the way, happy Valentine's Day. My least favorite holiday, I think, of the whole year. We can get into that later. Oh, I can't stand Valentine's Day. Anyway, things look pretty bad. Okay, here we go. Spring, fall, 2019. Look at the skirt lengths. What legs man wants to see that? Seriously. And what does that mean for the market when you see skirt lengths like that? Here's another one. Spring, fall, 2019. Look, you can't see. I can't see leg anywhere. Can I see skin anywhere? Not a single hemline over the knee. This is intolerable. I'm telling you, you need to go short the market. Watch your 401k. You need to go short the market right now. Look at these hemlines. Here's another one. Here's the last. Look at this. Look at this. They look like they're dressed like Eskimos. This is supposed to be fall 2019. Yeah, you got the boots and the whole 9 yards, and the hemline is below the knee. What does this mean for the American economy and the American stock market? Because pop culture, stock market analysis says as the hemlines go, so goes the stock market. I'm telling you right now, you need to go short the market. Short the market right now. Get ready for a crash. Obviously, it's apparent that some point in 2019, if not shortly after, hopefully not going into the election year of 2020, that we're not going to have a market crash. But it looks like right now we're going to have a market crash just based on what I'm looking at right here as far as skirt lengths are concerned. Every capitalist should be concerned. That's number one. And number two, every legs man should be up in arms. I'm up in arms. Let's go through this again. This is what look at this. Look at that. Who do you want your girlfriend wearing that? I don't. If Barbara has to put in mothballs her tight pencil skirts, I'm not going to be happy. Because Barbara has legs that are, I really need to insure them with Lloyd's of London. They're that awesome. My fiance has awesome legs. Yeah, she challenges Miss St. Peter's, my first grade teacher, no question about it. But I don't want to see Barbara dressed in that. I don't want to see Barbara in this. I don't want to see Barbara in that. Look at that. Will you look at that? Get your money out of the market or go short. That's all I'm saying right now, because the skirt, look at this. Look at this. I do not want my fiance walking down the aisle looking like an Eskimo. I don't want that. Good Lord. It's ridiculous. All I'm saying is this is dangerous for the stock market when hemlines are looking like this. I haven't seen hemlines like this since the late 1980s, the Carter years. This is not good. This is not good. This is not good for our money. And of course, leave it to yours truly to be able to bring you capitalistic financial insight like this. You can't get any better than this. Look at this. I'm telling you what the market's going to do. Look at it. Look, there it is right there. You can't get any better than Rush can't do that for you. Sean can't do that for you. Laura certainly can't do that for you. Somebody dresses Laura. Y'all know that, right? She ain't got no style. Laura, she has a stylist. She ain't got no style. Laura. Don't cut the stream. I do have more pertinent information coming up, along with Tracy Shannon and Pastor Stephen Broden. We're going to have fun today. Program stacked like pancakes. If you're not listening, you're not learning. Don't cut the stream. automobile aficionado, Apostle Claver here. Let me introduce you to my mechanic, an ASC certified mechanic, Andre at America's Repair in Houston. Now, you guys know I'm a former fully sponsored race car driver and I own a high performance auto. You bet I'm particular about who even touches my car. I go to America's Repair to get all my auto work done, and you should too. Andre has served Spring Branch and all of Houston for over 20 years. America's Repair will match or beat any competitor's price. All repairs come with a 1-year, 12,000-mile warranty. America's Repair is a complete car care and repair center. State inspection, muffler and exhaust work, wheel alignment, brake work, tune-ups, engine transmission work, auto body and paint. Great deals on oil change and AC checkup. America's Repair accepts all extended warranties. 2005 North Gessner, 1 mile north of Memorial City Mall in the Katy. Wednesday is senior citizen discounts. Thursday, active military discount. Call 713-467-2001. 713-467-2001. AmericasRepair.com. Or click the ad on RagingElephantRadio.com.
Home invasions are on the rise. Money is tight, but your alarm and cameras are not enough. Stop them before they get in. Armor City Doors has your solution, a simple kit that you could self-install that will have you protected in an hour. No matter what kind of door you currently have, this will work. Even if you live in an apartment, you can protect yourself and your family. Prices starting at just $69, depending, of course, on your door. And you can have kick-proof protection to your home. Professional installation is available. Get peace of mind that is real. Call Jenny today, 713-487-5539, 713-487-5539, or go to Armor City Door. No matter where you live in Texas, you can have an Armor City Door. TV and radio are great mediums for mass instruction, but for those times when you just want to hold something in your hands, there is the Damn Good Times. I still love the newspaper, but I'm tired of the liberal bias. That's why I reach for the Damn Good Times. Always full of interesting stories and great information, and you can have it delivered to your doorstep by calling 281-332-5710 or sending an email to news@thedamngoodtimes.com. Just $50 a year will get a full subscription. It's a great gift for all the patriots you know. Do it now.
Mountainous Tibet, one of the most beautiful places in the world. This is Timothy Hutton. The people of Tibet are in trouble. Their very culture is in jeopardy. But they still whip up an amazing fish curry. And since 200 of us bought at Groupon.com, we're each getting $30 worth of Tibetan food for just $15 at Himalayan Restaurant in Chicago.
Save the money. Unlock great deals in your town. Groupon.com.
Visit Groupon through the RER Marketplace.
Can you do it? The RER 2+2 Challenge. Howdy, rowdy Texans. It's me, E, the millennial voice of RER. I'm a big fan of RagingElephantRadio.com. More Texas voters should be listening to RER every day. A better, deeper knowledge of how Texas works will help Texas voters to make Texas more like Texas. The RER 2+2 Challenge. Listen to RER 2 hours a day, every day, for 2 weeks. You'll learn more about Texas politics in 2 weeks than you've ever known. Mark it on your daily calendar. Set your phone alarm. The RER 2+2 Challenge. 2 hours a day, every day, for 2 weeks. RagingElephantRadio.com. The rebellious voice of Texas liberty.
Information, communication, action. RagingElephantRadio.com.
Just having fun talking Texas Liberty 411. Apostle Claver T. Kamau-Imani. Claver, your favorite political flavor. Always giving it to you straight, no chaser. The only way I know how. The way I better give it to you or I have no credibility, right? And some of these clowns, some of these talkers, they don't have credibility. They sit there and just start yapping, start smacking their gums, start spewing something out of their pie hole, doesn't even make sense, and they can't even back it up. It's just pure opinion. That's the difference between them and yours truly. Yes, I'm opinionated, and 99.999% of the time, my opinion is correct, accurate. But in many instances, I actually have factoids to back up my points of view. Yesterday, we continued attacking the leftist, the socialist, the Democrat Party, the likes of Fluffy Ocasio, Pocahontas. I still need a nickname for Kamala Harris, but as you know, on Raging Elephants Radio, me being the master of nicknames, I have to be inspired. I just can't just come up with a nickname just for anybody just out of a reason. But there's got to be something that rhymes with Kamala. I don't know what it is yet, but maybe through Facebook, maybe you can send me an email through the app and say, how about this for a nickname for Kamala Harris? Because we got to have nicknames for everybody. Like, for instance, Julian Castro, for years here on Raging Elephants Radio, even as mayor of San Antonio, we glossed Julian Castro as Hooligan Castro, and his brother Joaquin as Joaquin Wackadoo Castro. Hooligan and Wackadoo Castro, the twins out of San Antonio, the communist. We got to come up with the name for Gillibrand. We got to come up with the name with Klobuchar. We need a better name for Booker than Spartacus. We really do. We can't let him gloss himself like that. And then, of course, there's Fluffy Ocasio. She earned that nickname because apparently that's pretty much what is contained within her cranium, some sort of grain fiber, some sort of fabric, something fluffy, goose down, something between her ears. I never thought that I would see the day that someone would come along to make Sheila Jackson Lee look like Sir Isaac Newton, but Fluffy Ocasio has achieved that. So, socialists and the Democrats, the official mascot of the Democrat being the jackass, well, in my opinion, are loathsome. And they really going all in, putting all chips in on socialism. I've got some sound for you, and I actually have some charts for you today to prove once again my points about how stupid the socialists actually are. Some of you guys may remember the late Christopher Hitchens, that was an at-large editor for Vanity Fair magazine. Was one of my favorite guys. Died from cancer several years ago. Not surprised, the dude was literally a chain smoker. I would suggest anyone, if you are not familiar with Christopher Hitchens, I love that dude, man. I just like the way he carried himself, the British accent, the whole 9 yards, you know, just cool. Very smart, very opinionated, to the point, no nuance, and died of cancer. But this is in 2006, before his death, and he's speaking about socialism and the dominance of Islam that was back then in Europe, and well, we know what the condition is today in Europe. Christopher Hitchens talking about socialism all the way back in 2006, and go look for some Christopher Hitchens videos on C-SPAN, on YouTube. The dude was just awesome. You're not going to agree with everything that he says, but you've got to say the guy was absolutely intellectually honest and completely compelling. Whenever Christopher Hitchens was on, I was just spellbound wherever the conversation was about, especially if it was an article that he had authored. So here's some Christopher Hitchens in 2006 talking about socialism and Islam, that deadly synergy.
Tonight we're honored that Mr. Hitchens is here to discuss his new book, Thomas Jefferson, Author of America. Mr. Hitchens will entertain questions on other topics as well. Ladies and gentlemen, Christopher Hitchens.
What have you done to your women in this town? Is it going to be all chaps all the time? What have you done to them? Suddenly the chicks. Well, okay, I was too shy to look.
Western Europe. What is the future of Western Europe? Germany, France, Sweden.
It's too broad a question, ma'am, if you don't mind my saying so. I was asked by the lady what about the future of Western Europe. Could you not put a more Rem Aku Tetagisti, we're all breaking into ancient languages this
Yes, that's right.
Put a bit more of a needle into that, perhaps.
The future of,
not just for my sake.
The future of,
because a boring question can get a boring answer.
The future of socialism over there, it seems that they're not going to be able to afford their government. They're not going to be able to sustain their way of living, and it seems that some of the people in our government are thinking that that is a good way to do things, and would request more of the workers of the United States to pay more to the people that don't work quite so much. And,
yes. If I can condense the question a bit, the lady inquires whether or not, in effect, the Europeans are paying themselves more than they earn and have got too used to a higher standard of living that doesn't quite justify itself. Well, the big difference, I think, between this will be very general, but between the American and the European model is this, that the United States continues to attract quite skilled labor from all over the world. We get the best often from places like Vietnam and Korea, Philippines and so forth, and indeed from countries to the immediate south of here. With Europe, which has a continuous need for more labor, they come up against skilled, very entrenched craft unions who don't really want new proletarians on the scene who might outbid them. So it's not a matter of the employers, it's much more a matter of the unions and what they've become used to with long holidays, a lot of welfare and so forth. Which means, to answer your question about socialism, that the socialist movement is dead by definition because it's rich workers disliking poor ones. That's not exactly proletarian internationalism. The second thing is that most of the immigrants from Western Europe, who want to make up this deficit, come at the moment from Muslim countries. And everybody knows that there's a possible trapdoor underneath that apparent free gift of cheap labor. And I don't think I need to state it any more dramatically than that.
Sir Christopher Hitchens back in 2006 talking about the future demise of Europe. I love this one too. This was Vin Scully. You know Vin Scully. Los Angeles Dodgers longtime announcer. Some batter got up for the Dodgers, or may have been for the Dodgers, may have not been from the Dodgers. Somebody from Venezuela. You know, like Jose Altuve from Venezuela and other great players come from Venezuela. Houston actually has, or at one time, had a baseball academy down in Venezuela that produced the likes of a Jose Altuve. And Vin Scully had this to say about Venezuela 3 years ago, back in 2016.
Carter at first, nobody out. 0-1. 25 years old, originally drafted by the Tigers, lives in Venezuela. Boy, can you imagine you're a young kid playing in the United States, you're from Venezuela, and every time you look at the news, it's a nightmare. A bunt attempt is missed. Runners for holding, 0-2. Socialism failing to work as it always does, this time in Venezuela. You talk about giving everybody something free and all of a sudden there's no food to eat. And who do you think is the richest person in Venezuela? The daughter of Hugo Chavez. Hello. Anyway, 0-2.
Anyway, 0-2. Vin Scully took a little heat for that, but then again, it's Vin Scully. He's a legend. He's a Hall of Famer. You're not going to mess with Vin Scully. At some point, you know, you get so much cred, you can pretty much say whatever you want to say. Sort of like that old saying, an old person, an elderly person, a senior citizen, they got permission to say whatever they want to say. They're old. It's Vin Scully. He can say whatever he wants to say. And there he is. I don't think it was on national television, but it was certainly on Dodger Network television. Can you imagine? Every time this guy turns on the TV and he has to say what a mess Venezuela is. There it is. Socialism never works. Never works. And he's out in LA. I'm surprised he wasn't hoisted on his own petard for saying something like that in the heart of Chavez Ravine in LA. Every time it's tried, it does not work. And of course, I don't have the voice of Vince Scully, but even when Vince Scully, with those velvet pipes, eviscerates socialism, Venezuela, and thus Fluffy Ocasio in the process, if you just extrapolate out from 2016 to now. Love you, Vince Scully. Socialism stinks. Ronald Reagan warned us all the way back in the 1960s that the Democratic Party was nothing but a disguise for not merely socialism, but communism. I don't think Reagan was necessarily prophetic. He was just looking at the condition of the country politically, the political topography at the time in the United States, and it's worse now. The vast majority of the country is Democrat. The vast majority of the country are leftist, and this is why I am a dedicated Texas nationalist, because the only way out is out. When I get back, more facts, more figures on that subject matter. The only way out of this fiscal mess, which is now $22 trillion plus in debt, United States is, larger than the economy by $2 trillion. The only way out is out, and I got the numbers to prove it in just a minute. What's up, Saints and Patriots? I'm Apostle Claver, a proud Texas nationalist, and I'm here to tell you about Texit. For 25 years, Daniel Miller has been working to see the rebirth of the Republic of Texas. His work has been hard, but his passion is deep. For many Texans, there is a deep yearning, a burning to see the prophecy of Sam Houston come true. But the desire of their hearts comes with many questions. Texit has the answer. It's the new book from Daniel Miller and Defiance Press. Texit, Why and How Texas Will Leave the Union. Texit charts the path to Texas independence. This riveting book of facts and philosophy will soothe your anxiety about the coming change and build your confidence that Texans can get it done. You'll want to buy several copies for your family and friends. Like I've said about this governmental mess, the only way out is out. And the best part of Texit, I'm in it. Texit, Why and How Texas Will Leave the Union. It's selling like hotcakes. Buy it on RagingElephantsRadio.com. Stop smoking and enjoy it. Electronic cigarette vaporizers. More than an actual product. This is the name of the company that's going to lead you to a tobacco-free life. Apostle Claver here. ECV is where I went to break my cigar usage. Now I'm a happy vape fan. Vaping, healthy, more socially acceptable. The new cool thing. No one's better in Texas to intro you to the world and tech of vaping than electronic cigarette vaporizers. Bart, Chantal, Max, and Chris will teach you every feature of the dozens of vaping devices to choose from. ECV has a cornucopia of flavors, from fruity to cookies or even tobacco, each made from all natural products. No carcinogens, no smoky smell, and a choice of nicotine levels. Slowly drop your nic level down to 0 and break your tobacco habit with no jitters or stress while enjoying relaxing inhalation. You've been wanting to do it, so do it. Stop smoking and enjoy it. Electronic cigarette vaporizers, 2755 Gessner in Houston. Call 713-939-8273. 713-939-VAPE or see the ad on RagingElephantsRadio.com.
Hartman, the power of proven results.
One of the premier property management companies in Texas, providing below market rates with above market amenities and service. Hartman has owned and operated commercial office properties since 1983, offering premium office space at an affordable price by saving businesses a significant amount of money by keeping taxes, utilities, and maintenance low. With over 30 years in commercial leasing in Houston, San Antonio, and Dallas, we have learned exactly what our customers require.
Hartman, the power of proven results.
Managed on Christian principles with a strong dedication to community benevolence. Whether you need 1,000 or 10,000 square foot of office space, Hartman has that space in one of nearly 50 Texas locations.
Hartman, the power of proven results.
Energy efficient buildings, customer friendly experts, supporters of conservative causes. A Texas owned and operated business for 30 years. A proud corporate sponsor of RagingElephantsRadio.com.
Hartman, the power of proven results.
Visit Hartman online, hi-REIT.com. Call 800-880-2212 or click the ad on RagingElephantsRadio.com.
The battle for liberty rages in every Texas community, none more so than in the nation's fourth largest city, Houston, Texas. A tyrannical mayor denies the right to vote to the citizens of the city, signs executive orders that violate the Texas Constitution and the charter of the city, and issues subpoenas for the sermons of pastors. And when the frontline leaders against the mayor's totalitarian agenda wanted a broadcast partner for their Faith, Family, and Freedom tour, who did they request? RagingElePhantsRadio.com.
There are a lot of great folks that we owe a big debt of gratitude for promoting this issue from day one. I want to recognize my friend Claver and the folks over at Raging Elephants over here. He was on it from day one. Every single week this man talks about this issue. And so thank you, Claver, for never giving in, never backing down, and continuing to be that loud conservative voice.
RagingElePhantsRadio.com, the rebellious voice of Texas liberty.
Get to know Texas politics. RagingElePhantsRadio.com.
Welcome back, Saints and Patriots, to your Texas network, RagingElePhantsRadio.com. Let me remind you that immediately following me is going to be the amazing Doc Green. His studio is moved his studio. Now he's out there in Katy. Used to be in the Cypress area. Now he's out there in Katy. I think he's being represented by a Democrat, too. And then, of course, the girls from Texas, 10 a.m. every morning from Hill County, literally in the heart of the People's Republic, the future independent Republic of Texas. A little bit distracted. Tracy's coming up, Eugene's coming up, and I'm thinking about what I'm doing here as far as getting you information. This whole idea of universal health care, like the National Health Service, you know, I would ask you on when it's really better on Sundays. I watch it on Sundays. Prime Minister's Question Time on C-SPAN, the British House of Parliament, House of Commons, British Parliament, House of Commons. My goodness, Claver. So they have Prime Minister's Question Time every Wednesday. And then they replay, I think it's 8 o'clock Texas time and 11 o'clock Texas time. I usually watch the 11 o'clock one. And I can pretty much guarantee you every week there is a vicious debate, vicious battle over the national health system. And this is what Kamala Harris wants. This is what Pocahontas wants. This is what, you know, all the leftists wants. Fluffy Ocasio, Crazy Bernie. This is what they all want. And you should, if you want to see it in action, arguing over how many doctors, arguing over how many nurses, arguing over waiting times, arguing over availability of medications, arguing over availability of dentists. Everything that Reagan was telling us back in '61, telling doctors where they can practice, how many hours they can practice. That's what complete government control of healthcare would mean. The complete elimination of the private insurance market. And this is what these nimnongs want. And it's been years. If Texans and Americans had been listening for years about what they have been saying on the left, their biggest mouthpieces, none of these proposals and efforts that they're making in this election cycle should be a surprise to anyone. Bill Maher from 2015.
In the opening with Bernie Sanders there, 47% of the American people said they'd vote for a socialist. They're not going to vote for Bernie Sanders if he gets the nomination. The American people will not vote for
How
Bernie
do you know?
Sanders.
They might.
They're not going to
Sorry,
guys.
more if we start educating them.
Thank you.
Again, I'm glad you brought that up. Are you against Social Security? Because that's a socialist program. You guys hate socialism, but you are not. If you so hate socialism, why don't you campaign on repealing Social Security, Medicare, the VA, and cutting back on the Pentagon, which is the biggest socialist organization in the government.
Bill, I thought what you did.
Let him in.
Social Security, Rand Paul has a great line. This Social Security is actually not socialism; it's actually a Ponzi scheme. And the fact of the matter is, it's a very popular program.
It's the most effective anti-poverty program.
And I mean, listen to this. Okay, it is a Ponzi scheme. And then the leftist nimnongs that are in Bill Maher's audience Oh, how dare you? How dare you badmouth Social Security? How dare you badmouth Medicare and Medicaid? How dare you do? Oh, it's been the Vanderhoeven just said, Katrina Vanderhoeven just said, Social Security has been the greatest poverty eliminator in the history of America. I mean, these are very ignorant people.
And we're going broke because of it. The country's going broke because of that and Medicare.
No, we're not.
We have a $17 trillion debt.
Yes.
$22 trillion as of yesterday. 2 days ago. Plus 22. This is in 2015. Plus $22 trillion in debt right now, the United States, in a $20 trillion economy. I mean, and when they want to lie to you about Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security, remember, they are the drivers of over $160 trillion in unfunded liabilities that has to be paid out into the future. $160 trillion, and the audience is booing, and these nimnongs on the left, these morons on the left, championing these programs that are utterly destructive. Utterly destructive.
But it's
$17 trillion. It's not because of Social Security,
right,
which is the most effective anti-poverty program, and it's helped.
And still solve it. And we're not going to get rid of it. We're not going to get rid of the Social Security. It's not going to happen.
Okay.
That being said, I do think that we do need to have some private accounts to get. People get a 1% return on their.
John, private account on Wall Street.
But wait.
Well, look at
the most popular programs are socialist programs. But how can you square this circle? You hate socialism, but the programs people love, including your voters, are socialist.
But Bill, there's a complexity.
Okay, so you know what? Believe it or not, that jackass, that leftist, that socialist, that crazy Bernie Sanders supporter, Bill Maher, he's right. I agree with him 100%. And I do believe I have no trust in the American electorate. Yes, they will elect a socialist. They elected Barack Hussein Obama.
But may I just say what you did with Bernie, I think is so important. Love Bernie. But he's always going to Denmark. I love Denmark. But this country has a great history of socialist tradition. I mean, as you said, Social Security, public utilities, and Franklin Delano Roosevelt. No, but Franklin Delano Roosevelt in 1944 delivered a speech on the floor of the Congress called the Economic Bill of Rights. A right to health care, a right to housing, a right to, a job, and he would have been driven off that house, but no longer, because we have
more people out of poverty
movement
than any other force in history.
What happened?
And the free market system.
Which kind of free market?
Our free market system.
That's why we're a quasi-socialist country, like every other modern country.
I would say
because you need both. We're not saying we're not capitalists. We're just saying.
Well, that's what they are saying. That's what Bernie is saying.
No, he's not.
He wants to get rid of the capitalist system.
He does not want to get.
He's a socialist.
You hear the crowd. Oh, that's not what he's saying. That's not what he's saying. Is that what they're saying? This new Green Deal, is that not what they are saying? This is in 2015 this conversation is going on. And the audience is, oh, no, you're just full of it. Oh, no, you're hyperbole. Oh, no, exaggeration. Oh, no, demagoguery.
First of all, he's a Democratic
He wants to tax you by about 80%. Takes your money.
It never said that.
Wait. Fast forward. What's the proposed tax rate now? What is the proposed tax rate by the jackasses?
But you know what's interesting? Millions of people are looking beyond the label. Millions of people are meeting Bernie Sanders for the first time, and a younger generation didn't grow up with socialism, it grew up with capitalism.
And by the way,
and
there is someone who taxed people at 80%.
Eisenhower. And the interstate highway system under Eisenhower, a little bit of socialism in there.
So.
Socialist. Okay. Here's the deal, Saints and Patriots. The reason that many of us, including yours truly, doesn't have health insurance is because of the ideas of the left. These very programs that they are extolling, that they say is the greatest thing since toilet tissue, since indoor plumbing. Medicare, Medicaid. And I'm going to prove to you again today, with more facts, more charts, that the reason we don't have affordable an affordable health insurance market. First of all, we don't have a health insurance free market. That's the first thing. We don't have that. And secondly, because of government interference, because of these socialist government programs that now dominate the CapEx of Washington, Devil City. You don't need to take my word for it. Just hang around. I've got charts for you to prove it, that at the moment, government got fully in the healthcare. The ability to afford healthcare became less and less. The cost became higher and higher. And now it's parabolic, and many of us are without coverage. This stinks, and it's the Democrat Party fault. And here they are right here saying it's the best thing since the birth of me, I guess. I don't know. Be right back. I have the charts. You want to see the charts. You want to see the charts. You want to see the proof. You don't want fake news. Don't cut the stream. If you're not listening, you're not learning. And in this case, Facebook.com/Raging Elephants Radio or the RER Video YouTube channel. You don't want to cut the stream because you're going to see it with your own eyes.
RER Cross is the Christian programming of RagingElephantsRadio.com. Pastor Edwin Guerra delivers passionate sermons.
And then I'm reminded, God is greater than our feelings. There are times that you don't want to be Jesus to people because you just don't feel worthy. God is greater than how we feel. And that is our hope. We are called to be the hands and feet of Jesus. We are not called to be emotional, up and down, Christianese type of people. We are called to be bold and stand firm on what we believe, even if you don't feel like it.
Enjoy Pastor Edwin Guerra, 8:30 a.m. and 8:30 p.m. Sundays on RER Cross, right here on RagingElephantsRadio.com.
Stop smoking and enjoy it. Electronic cigarette vaporizers. More than an actual product. This is the name of the company that's going to lead you to a tobacco-free life. Apostle Claver here. ECV is where I went to break my cigar usage. Now I'm a happy vape fan. Vaping, healthy, more socially acceptable. The new cool thing. No one's better in Texas to intro you to the world and tech of vaping than electronic cigarette vaporizers. Bart, Chantal, Max, and Chris will teach you every feature of the dozens of vaping devices to choose from. ECV has a cornucopia of flavors, from fruity to cookies or even tobacco, each made from all natural products. No carcinogens, no smoky smell, and the choice of nicotine levels. Slowly drop your nic level down to 0 and break your tobacco habit with no jitters or stress while enjoying relaxing inhalation. You've been wanting to do it, so do it. Stop smoking and enjoy it. Electronic cigarette vaporizers, 2755 Gessner in Houston. Call 713-939-8273, 713-939-VAPE, or see the ad on RagingElephantsRadio.com.
Green Air Technology will sanitize, sterilize, and defunkifies your home. Our treatment utilizes a high-output biocleaner to eradicate bacteria, germs, and airborne pathogens and allergens in any home, vehicle, or facility. So if your facility or home smells funky like a bow-legged monkey, call Green Air Technologies. We are dedicated to eliminating odor and airborne contaminants at home, at work, or even in your vehicle.
Now featuring Biosphere.
Call Jim Green at 346-254-9217 or go to greenairtech.com. 346-254-9217 or go to greenairtech.com.
Listen up, Texans. RER Nation has got to grow. We've got to have those RER app downloads. Android devices. Here's how to share the RER app. Get to your application manager through Settings, tap the RER app logo. There's your Google Play, right? Scroll down, See the share icon? Hit it. Choose text or messenger. Pick a couple of Texas Patriots. Give a testimony in 160 characters. Send. iOS device folks, do the equivalent through the App Store. Let's get it viral. RER app.
You're enjoying Apostle Claver T. Kamau-Imani on RagingElephantRadio.com.
You had to come on the program, Tracy Shannon, running a little bit behind. You know, run my mouth a lot. Tracy Shannon and Eugene Ralph. Well, the problem is I always over-prepare. That's the problem. I'm always scared I'm not going to have enough material. And it's bad enough that I have to run Audible sometimes because things go wrong. That does happen. You know, computers crash, software crash, internet goes down. Here's the rock solid proof if you need to see it, that the reason healthcare costs are exorbitant, including insurance premiums, and one of these days I'm going to have to pull out the audio on the explanation of how Medicare works, or I can explain it to you myself. It takes a little bit of time. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow, so that you'll understand why when Medicare and Medicaid were implemented, it necessarily skyrocketed health insurance premiums and healthcare costs. Okay, it's because of how the programs work. Their socialist construct. Okay, so on yesterday, let's see if I can pull up some of this here. I gave you a graphic that showed. Well, let me get it. Yeah, here it is. All right. So here's the first one that I showed you on yesterday. Healthcare cost 1960 to 2020. And you see that back in 1960, healthcare costs are like $27. My uncle, former 3-term mayor of Arlington, Texas, I mean, when he was a young man, just really starting out in life in Orange, Texas, just starting out his family, he was one of those independent insurance agents, and he would write full health care coverage, full family health care coverage premiums for $7 a month. And you notice from 1960 to 1970, tripled. And then you see the elevation since then. Now here's a couple of other graphs that I was able to find that I think that you'll find instructional. This is healthcare spending, and it's grown much faster than the rest of the economy in recent decades. And what I really want to point out here is you see the split that happens right at 1965. The red line is the percentage increase of the GDP when it comes to healthcare costs, and then the gray line is the actual growth of the GDP. And as you can see, up until 1965, the red line and the gray line were essentially in lockstep. They were together. And then in 1965, and what's the big event of 1965? The implementation of Medicare and of Medicaid, and there you see the result of it right there for your very own eyes. Now this is in a bar graph, U.S. healthcare spending as a percentage of GDP, and as you can see where the red line is, right there in 1965, percentage of healthcare spending was actually below 6%, and now as you can see, as of 2008 on this chart, it's a full 16% and rising. I think I have one more that I wanted to share with you if I can find it here. I'm getting all kind of things on my screen. I'm looking for it. Hold on. I know there's one more good one I had. I don't know what I did with it. It's around here somewhere. Now, anyway. That's disappointing. It was around here somewhere. I don't know what I did with it. Maybe I'll find it during the break and be able to share it with you again. But essentially, it's very simple. Because of the government interfering in healthcare, well, we got a problem. Nobody can afford health insurance. It's a big problem. Yeah, there it is again. There's that particular graph right there. You can see it again. Yeah, there's that one right there again. Yeah, there's another really good one. Maybe during the break or while I'm talking to Tracy, I'll be able to pull that one up as well. But there's certainly the proof right there for you that the main reason that we have these issues with healthcare that's not affordable is because of the government being involved in healthcare, primarily Medicare and Medicaid. And they're the primary drivers of CapEx. I mean, they're on autopilot. You can't even make any kind of adjustments to it. Third rail of politics. And what those graphs show you is that when they were implemented, because of that government intervention, healthcare cost just absolutely skyrocketed and is projected to continue to do so. So now the question becomes, do the Democrats really believe that a complete takeover of healthcare is going to make the situation better? Their argument is Medicare for all. Well, you need to know how Medicare works, because if you think you want Medicare for all, oh boy, we're in trouble. Healthcare rationing, death panels, no way to end abortion, because it's going to be too big of a moneymaker then. Yeah, they're just morons. They really are. When you see things like this and they say they want Medicare for all, and the reason we can't afford health insurance right now is because of Medicare, and they say they want Medicare for all, they want to get rid of the private insurance program, they want to get rid of the health insurance free market, the little piece of it that it is, because there really isn't one. They're morons. They are ignorant. And the majority of the American people vote for them. I am a Texas nationalist. I want Texas to become an independent, sovereign, free republic. Why? Because of these types of individuals that are positioned to actually have governing power, even reside in the White House. A huge portion of the American people are swallowing this excrement. And here's the facts right there in front of you. This is why you watch Raging Elephants Radio, you listen to Raging Elephants Radio, because we give it to you straight, no chaser, no fake news. We prove what we say. I just proved it. The Democrats are morons. Complete, utter morons. They're stupid. And the majority of Americans are Democrats. Lord Jesus, help the United States of America, please.
RER Cross is the Christian programming of RagingElephantsRadio.com. Here's a sample from Pastor Keenan Smith.
See, however, though, I believe the White House is supposed to stand as the people's house for all individuals. So I believe it is sinful and wrong for the White House to spend tens of hundreds of thousands of your tax dollars to bathe the White House in rainbow colors, celebrating their victory. So let me say this, that we expect an unregenerated individual to act lost. Lost people act lost. We expect that. We even expect them to embrace or promote or even applaud homosexuality and other ungodly practices, because that's where they are in life. We understand that. The question is not do they act lost, but do we act found?
Enjoy Pastor Keenan Smith, 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. Sundays on RER Cross, right here on RagingElephantsRadio.com.
I'm in a hotel. And a hotel is the perfect place to talk to you about hotels using words. All you can eat is a hotel policy that allows you to eat all that you can. Hotel conference rooms are where business people sleep through conferences. This business people is going to be fired. The hotel pool is usually filled with water. Sometimes you have to check, but pretty much always. The best way to enjoy the hotel view is to look at it. And it is a great view. The hotel gym is short for gymnasium. The hotel lounge is where you want to do your lounging, like this. And the best.com for booking hotels is hotels.com. It's on the internet, but you probably knew that. Or maybe not. I don't really know you.
Welcome back, Captain Obvious.
Yes, I am. All those words are spelled correctly.
Visit hotels.com through the RER Marketplace.
Welcome back, JR Cigar fans. Nick Libretti here, and today we're smoking the brand new Lucia White. Alright, here it is, guys. Winner of Half Wheel's New Brand of the Year Award, the Lucia White. Created by Sam Lucia, coming out of Pittsburgh, PA, and created this dynamite brand new smoke. It's a medium to full body Nicaraguan. It's got a sun-grown wrapper on it. You guys who like sun-growns, you know what you're looking for. Spice, a little coffee to it, really rich tasting. Well, this one has it all. Strictly Nicaraguan tobacco, available in a bunch of new sizes at jrcigars.com. Guys, get this brand new one while you can.
Visit JR Cigars through the RER Marketplace.
When Andrew Jackson ran for president in 1828, his opponents called him a jackass. Jackson liked the image so much, it became the mascot of the new Democratic Party.
Texas independence. Have you ever thought about it? What exactly does it mean, or is it even possible? Sam Houston said,
Texas will raise her head among the nations.
Was he a dreamer or a prophet? You can get the answers to these questions in the book Lying in the Sand by Daniel Miller. Doc Green says it's required reading for every Texan. Lying in the Sand by Daniel Miller gives you the information you need to be prepared to give an answer to anyone that asks. As a Raging Elephants Radio listener, you are the go-to person for your friends.
RagingElePhantsRadio.com.
This book is more than a good read. It will equip you to reach others while pursuing a better future for your family. Get your copy now by clicking on the link on RagingElePhantsRadio.com.
RagingElePhantsRadio.com.
That's RagingElePhantsRadio.com. Since a portion of the proceeds goes to support Raging Elephants Radio, it may be time for you to cross that line in the sand.
That line in the sand. RagingElePhantsRadio.com.
What do you care about Washington, D.C.? D.C. doesn't care about you. You're a Texan. You're a Texan above all else. And there's only one radio station that's going to feed your need for Texas power and independence. RagingElePhantsRadio.com. Finally, the Patriots of the Lone Star State have a unified voice to fight back and organize. 24/7, 365. RagingElePhantsRadio.com is going to give you what you need to know about Texas politics, liberty, and independence. Take us wherever you go. RagingElePhantsRadio.com. Streaming on your computer, smartphone, tablet, and internet auto.
Take us wherever you go. Raging Elephants Radio, streaming on your computer, tablet, and smartphone.
Welcome back, Saints and Patriots. She's Tracy Shannon, and she's kind of courageous. She watches the neo-morality movement for us, and there's always so much to watch here at Ground Zero, which happens to be Houston, Texas, for some unknown reason. Welcome back, Tracy. How are you? Happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you. I'm doing great. Thanks for having me back on.
Well, I mean, we can't go too long without having Tracy Shannon on. Too big of a favorite, too big of a fan favorite. And I know that, another drag queen story time is scheduled again at Houston Public Library at the Montrose branch. It's always the fourth Saturday, right? It's coming up on like the 23rd or 26th or something like that, right?
Yeah, February 23rd at 2 o'clock at the public library. I think they have 2 sessions now, so it starts at 1 o'clock, maybe the first session. So although the website was still saying 2 last time I checked, but saw something else put out. So I don't know if they changed it. So.
There's absolutely no indication other than them saying enough of this. We really don't need all the hassle and the protests. They're pretty determined to keep this going, it seems.
Yeah, they're going to keep going, just like they're going all across the nation with this program. This is, for them, the other side, this is very important. It's institutionalizing their narrative and their agenda with our public library. So it's very important to them. And access to the children and is important to them. They want to indoctrinate children so that under the guise of saying this prevents bullying and this is how we have to teach people so that we can even exist in this, very transphobic, homophobic society. I mean, just the whole thing, it's just crazy that this notion that kids need to be introduced to sexual orientations and ideology and to drag queens who are into erotica and all these people who are pushing it are into erotica, and any little search of their social media will show you that that's what they're into. And these kids, they're being introduced to these drag queens and their names, their stage names, so they could just Google or use Alexa or Siri and see and be exposed to erotica, because nobody has used the good sense to even say, hey, maybe we don't use stage names in the library. But it wasn't. I don't think it was a lack of good sense. I think it was a lack of boundaries, of healthy boundaries, and I think it was intentional because they want to introduce children to sexually explicit material and to sexual ideology, and that's entirely inappropriate for young children and in the library and at taxpayer expense. These are taxpayer-funded libraries, and we need the libraries to be defunded just like Planned Parenthood. Taxpayers should not be paying for the pushing of immorality and for the eroding of decency. We should not be paying for that. There are plenty of sponsors of the library that are willing to pay for that, including HEB, one of their big sponsors. So let these private entities support the library, get the taxpayer out of it.
Wait a minute, you said something very interesting. I was going to go into another question. What does HEB have to do with this?
Oh, well, they're one of the big contributors to the Houston Public Library Fund, and there's a lot of contributors to the corporate sponsors of the library.
But not directly to Drag Queen Storytime, but just to the library and its program in general is what you're pointing out.
To the library in general, and so maybe they're not aware, but I will tell you, HEB, one of my favorite grocery stores and a very good community partner, especially after Hurricane Harvey. HEB is a sponsor of Equality Texas, and Equality Texas is promoting some pretty terrible bills in Texas right now that will harm religious liberty in Texas and will be a threat to Christians.
Well,
so we really need to talk to HEB.
Wait a minute. I had no idea about this. HEB already has problems in other issues, such as their open borders stance, Charles Butt's interference in education, homeschooling, and parental choice. He's against all of that.
Wow.
He's a big plutocrat. He was a pro-Straussian. He funded Strauss to the tune of, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. And now what you're saying is, and remember, he's open borders. These guys were meeting the invaders. HEB trucks were meeting the invaders as they were coming across in 2014 and 2015. They were there. They were providing all of the goods that were needed. They were the quartermaster for the invasion, basically, HEB was. And so now you're telling me that they are a financial backer of the preeminent pro-neo-morality organization, Political Action Committee in Texas, that in fact has endorsed the likes of State Representative Republican Sarah Davis, who was Rule 44'd over such associations and such advocacy for the neo-morality movement and abortion? Are you saying that Charles Budd and HEB are tied in with Equality Texas?
Absolutely. I'm absolutely saying that, and I can show the evidence. I'm getting all this stuff together right now, and I think that people need to know that, some of these people that we consider good neighbors, what are the other things they're doing? Because I've always considered them a good neighbor. I think they have great stores. However, I can't support a company that is going behind the backs of families to undermine faith and family in Texas. I just cannot. And people need to know that. But they are not the only ones by far. There are many, and some of these places local, and they need to be hearing from us. The left does it. It's time for us to do it. We actually donate more money. We actually are, there are more of us than them, and we just need to quit being apathetic. If we realize how this ideology and this neo-morality movement is coming to destroy faith and family and to lock us in the closet, not just put us in the closet, but to lock us in. It's like the LGBT ran out and we're being pushed in and the door's getting locked. So that is what supporting the LGBT movement and Equality Texas is going to do. So we've got to stand up. But hey, we had one of those at our Mass Resistance meeting. Mass Resistance is working to put down Drag Queen Story Hour in Houston and across the nation and all over the globe. And we had a meeting, just a few church ladies, and in comes a transsexual to our meeting. And so I found out today that person that came into our meeting to take notes is actually with Equality Texas. So I guess they feel like we're, making some progress, and that they feel like they need to come spy on us. But we were aware the whole time that this was an infiltrator. We planted a few misinformation pieces as I went along through my notes because I knew. So we'll know any other people getting that when we see the fake news that we gave to her. Come out.
That's good. And you'll be able to also see who the media connections are as well. Who's actually helping them push their agenda in local mainstream media, not just on the national scale, but the local reporters. Yeah. That's what they do. I mean, it's not going to be just the Houston Press or the Voice or somebody like that, the Blade or whatever. They have connections in mainstream media to get their narrative out there. They're not going to report it straight. Is that right, Tracy?
Oh, that's right. We can't count on the mainstream media unless we hold them accountable, and we got a plan to do that too. We will be taking them to task on their lack of reporting and investigation.
Yeah, but when you put those nuggets out there, those little pieces of cheese, all of a sudden it becomes a big reveal of who their connections and who they're leaking to and their and all of that. A little bit more to talk to you about on this, Tracy, so hang on, let's take a short break. Tracy Shannon, Raging Elephants Radio contributor, handling the neo-morality movement, and we still have Pastor Stephen Broden as well. Well, that's going to be a good conversation. A few more minutes with Tracy and then Pastor Broden. Raging Elephants Radio, we're number one.
RER Cross is the Christian programming of RagingElephantsRadio.com. Here's a sample from Pastor Keenan Smith.
See, however, though, I believe the White House is supposed to stand as the people's house for all individuals. So I believe it is sinful and wrong for the White House to spend tens of hundreds of thousands of your tax dollars to bathe the White House in rainbow colors, celebrating their victory. So let me say this, that we expect an unregenerated individual to act lost. Lost people act lost. We expect that. We even expect them to embrace or promote or even applaud homosexuality and other ungodly practices because that's where they are in life. We understand that. The question is not do they act lost, but do we act found?
Enjoy Pastor Keenan Smith, 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. Sundays on RER Cross, right here on RagingElePhantsRadio.com.
Hartman, the power of proven results.
One of the premier property management companies in Texas, providing below-market rates with above-market amenities and service. Hartman has owned and operated commercial office properties since 1983, offering premium office space at an affordable price by saving businesses a significant amount of money by keeping taxes, utilities, and maintenance low. With over 30 years in commercial leasing in Houston, San Antonio, and Dallas, we have learned exactly what our customers require.
Hartman, the power of proven results.
Managed on Christian principles with a strong dedication to community benevolence. Whether you need 1,000 or 10,000 square foot of office space, Hartman has that space in one of nearly 50 Texas locations.
Hartman, the power of proven results.
Energy-efficient buildings, customer-friendly experts, supporters of conservative causes. A Texas-owned and operated business for 30 years. A proud corporate sponsor of RagingElePhantsRadio.com.
Hartman, the power of proven results.
Visit Hartman online, hi-REIT.com. Call 800-880-2212 or click the ad on RagingElePhantsRadio.com. The happiest happy hour on the H-Town West Side. Introducing the Texas Tea Tavern. Texas Tea. The longest happy hour, 12 noon to 7 p.m. Monday through Saturday. $3.75 domestic drafts, $8 domestic pitchers, $4 wells, $5 grapies for the ladies. Texas Tea. Texas Tea is the West Side after-work chill-out place. They have this massive door that opens up to a relaxed lawn and patio. Day or night, this time of year, it's marvelous for sipping in convo. Texas Tea. Video poker tournaments all through the week. Tuesday, Texas Trivia. Wednesday, bring your axe. It's open jam night. Live music every Saturday night on the huge stage. Karaoke Sunday nights. Texas Tea. Mud bugs could be boiling in the outdoor kitchen. If you're hungry, the classy food cart on the newly paved parking lot serves $3 tacos that are big as your head. Texas Tea. A safe place for ladies to venture solo. Open every night until 2 a.m. Texas Tea. Easy to find. 1535 Brickmore, a stone's throw from City Center. You may see me there. Get more info. Click the ad on RagingElePhantsRadio.com. It's no secret about the censorship that big technology companies are practicing as we speak. Are there ways to get around this? For us at Raging Elephants Radio and for you, the Raging Elephants Radio app is the way to do that. It gives us direct communication to you with no middleman. No Facebook, no Google, no Twitter. Raging Elephants Radio and you in direct connection. No interception. Beat the censorship. Download the Raging Elephants Radio app.
Numbers equal power. Spread the word about RagingElePhantsRadio.com.
That's really the only way that we're going to grow. Beat the censorship. Be a Raging Elephants Radio evangelist. Tell them about these excellent contributors that we have on our program every single day, like Tracy Shannon, Raging Elephants Radio contributor, mother, wife, and a ferocious activist. I wouldn't want to get on Tracy's bad side. That's for sure. That's for sure. Tracy, the whole idea of drag queen storytime, you alluded to this. It didn't necessarily start in Texas, but it certainly got here as fast as it could.
Yeah, it's been here since 2017. It went under the radar for a while. Nobody knew it was going on, and then the news ran a story, and then it started being protested. At that time, the library decided to start putting in place some new rules because they didn't like the scrutiny coming on. So that's one of the things we're going to be talking about at City Hall is the unequal application of rules and the making up of rules by the library. And some of these rules are like no recording is not posted as a rule and for the library in any place in their published rules and policies.
What any action is going to be taken as well? This is a mayoral election year, city election year.
Mm-hmm.
What is mass resistance going to do politically, if at all? Is there a candidate that you guys are looking at? I'm sure you're going to try to do what you can to remove Sylvester Turner from the seat. That apparently is a supporter of drag queen story time. He's already made comments in support, has he not, Tracy?
Oh yeah, he's in support of Drag Queen Story Hour, but that's just only one problem with our current mayor. The whole City Hall is being run like a organized crime ring, and there's no transparency. everybody who I talked to who's filed a Freedom of Information Act request with the city has it sent to the Attorney General as a matter of trying to hide the information. We should be able to get public information from our city and we're not able to get that because this mayor, everything is opaque with him. I mean, he'd rather be sued than to give the information to people who are requesting it. And of course, this mayor has not put police on the streets that people have requested, or he promised he would increase the number of police, and that's been lowered instead of increased. But so there's a lot of problems aside from Drag Queen Story Hour with the mayor, who likes to lecture people about respect when he and people on his staff and on council don't want to give any to those of us that come down there to express our views about Drag Queen Story Hour. Instead, there are remarks made about Christianity and the Bible that cannot be tolerated and that really amount to anti-Christian bigotry. We've been tacitly called homophobic, by one member of council with his remarks, and we shouldn't have to face that when we go down to City Hall. That is not okay. So we go down there to try to partner with the city and bring things up to them that need to be addressed, and instead we're being treated with disrespect down there, and that needs to be.
You have where are those videos posted? You guys have got video posted of those comments, don't you? I think who made the comment? Was it Ellen Cohen or?
Ellen Cohen, also as well as Mike Laster made the comments. So we have those posted on Mass Resistance Texas YouTube channel. So take a look at those. We'll be sharing those videos again on the Mass Resistance Texas Houston page as well here in the next few days as we head back to City Hall on the 19th at 2 o'clock, 900 Bagby, and anyone wanting to speak against this program should show up and lend their voices. We have several things to talk about where there's violations of library rules, where there's some safety concerns, where there's just practice. There's an employee of the library who's promoting their kid's band. It's a self-described queer band, which is the host of these Drag Queen Story Hour events at the library. Well, that's somebody's daughter that's been working at the library as a senior library service specialist and youth services assistant manager at the library for 14 years. So that seems to be unethical, and also it's a violation of library meeting room policies to be promoting businesses in there. And this is promoting that band, and this is promoting the business of the drag queens. And that's all over. I mean, the evidence of that is all over the internet. And this has been allowed. And promotion of these events is supposed to be approved by the library. If it is being approved, how come that promotion doesn't follow the rules of the library? It's not following it because there's no scrutiny involved, just like there's no scrutiny allowed of the LGBTQ community. There can be no scrutiny because that's bigoted. Well, there's been no scrutiny and no making anyone follow the rules when it comes to this program, because that would be so homophobic or transphobic or something. So that's not been done, and it needs to be done. And there's, we know that there is a terror group member planning to come and also armed to the counter protest and be at the counter protest. So that will be brought up. They are going to be doo-dooing enough bricks at City Hall on February 19th to build Trump's wall, because we have so much to say to them. So, I would invite all of those running for mayor to come and hear what we have to say, because this is a demonstration of how the city is run, and they need to know about it, because things need to change down there. And I'm personally with Bill King, because his motto is clean up City Hall, and it does need to be cleaned up.
Yeah, he does have some Republican attachments, former mayor of Kemah. One last question, I'm out of time. Tracy, just emphasize one more time the time, date, and location. And you guys are going to be outside the library protesting. You're not going to go inside the library, correct?
Right. We're in. You cannot protest inside the library, or you would be removed. But some people will likely want to observe, and that they cannot deny the ability to observe the program inside the library. But the protest is outside the library on the sidewalk on city property, which is appropriate, on February 23rd at starting at about 1 p.m. or 12:30 p.m. that day, which is a Saturday. So invite everyone to come out there, join us. We're going to have a good time, and out there we're going to sing songs, we're going to hold our signs and be in a good mood. But while we show our opposition to the library holding this program, our opposition is with the library and the mayor. This is Mayor Turner's Drag Queen Story Hour. He has the ability to stop this and has not stopped this. Okay. And this year we will make these politicians fall on the sword one way or the other. They will support this or not support it. We want to know.
Okay, so about 12:30 on the 23rd, right, is when everybody needs to show up, and you guys usually out there for a couple hours, right?
Yep, Freed Montrose Library. Yep, right. 12:30 to probably close to 4 o'clock at Freed Montrose Library, Saturday, February 23rd.
Thanks a lot, Tracy Shannon. She's the Raging Radio contributor for the Neo-Morality Movement. Personally impacted her life. She's got quite a lot invested in this. It means so much to her. It's ministry, not just political activism. Thanks a lot, Tracy. Talk to you next week.
Bye.
Pastor Stephen Broden is up next. Got a lot to talk with Pastor Broden about as well. Emotions running deep in the black community right now about the Democratic Party. And Pastor Broden definitely has all the connections to let us know exactly what's going on. So Pastor Broden's going to fill us in. He's got the full 411. Raging Elephants Radio. If you're not listening, you're not learning.
RER Cross is the Christian programming of RagingElephantsRadio.com. Pastor Stephen Broden is a featured Bible teacher.
What runs interference with God's instructive word are Satan, the world, and the flesh. Out of these three comes doubt, fear, and unbelief. Doubt and fear leads to unbelief. Unbelief, more than any other sin, is targeted towards the very character and integrity of God Himself. It challenges God's promises, His stated purposes, and casts dispersion on His plan for you and all who believe. This is what Satan did in the Garden of God with Adam and Eve. Satan led them to believe God was holding back on them and was untruthful about the consequences if they ate from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil.
Enjoy Pastor Stephen Broden, 9:30 a.m. and 9:30 p.m. Sundays on RER Cross, right here on RagingElephantsRadio.com.
What's up, Saints and Patriots? I'm Apostle Claver, a proud Texas nationalist, and I'm here to tell you about Texit. For 25 years, Daniel Miller has been working to see the rebirth of the Republic of Texas. His work has been hard, but his passion is deep. For many Texans, there is a deep yearning, a burning to see the prophecy of Sam Houston come true. But the desire of their hearts comes with many questions. Texit has the answer. It's the new book from Daniel Miller and Defiance Press. Texit, Why and How Texas Will Leave the Union. Texit charts the path to Texas independence. This riveting book of facts and philosophy will soothe your anxiety about the coming change and build your confidence that Texans can get it done. You'll want to buy several copies for your family and friends. Like I've said about this governmental mess, the only way out is out. And the best part of Texit, I'm in it. Texit, Why and How Texas Will Leave the Union. It's selling like hotcakes. Buy it on RagingElephantsRadio.com.
Hartman, the power of proven results.
One of the premier property management companies in Texas, providing below market rates with above market amenities and service. Hartman has owned and operated commercial office properties since 1983, offering premium office space at an affordable price by saving businesses a significant amount of money by keeping taxes utilities, and maintenance low. With over 30 years in commercial leasing in Houston, San Antonio, and Dallas, we have learned exactly what our customers require.
Hartman, the power of proven results.
Managed on Christian principles with a strong dedication to community benevolence. Whether you need 1,000 or 10,000 square foot of office space, Hartman has that space in one of nearly 50 Texas locations.
Hartman, the power of proven results.
Energy efficient buildings, customer-friendly experts, supporters of conservative causes. A Texas-owned and operated business for 30 years. A proud corporate sponsor of RagingElephantRadio.com.
Hartman, the power of proven results.
Visit Hartman online, hi-REIT.com. Call 800-880-2212 or click the ad on RagingElephantRadio.com. Texas Specialties is in a little town of 1,000, Three Rivers, Texas. Texas Specialties is a small family business in a town where treating people right is a way of life. The Stubbs family's Texas Specialties started out doing high-quality t-shirts for Texas music scene bands at affordable prices. Everything, the design, the artwork, the printing, accepting minimum orders, even selling t-shirts for the bands online. And now they bring that experience to you anywhere in Texas. Texas Specialties can do the same for any small business, for teachers, for schools, dance classes, athletic teams, clubs, and anyone needing good quality screen printing at an affordable price. The Stubbs family loves to work with ideas and the people who have them. Your experience with Texas Specialties will be excellent. Anything less just will not do. Call 361-784-2052, 361-784-2052. Click Texas Specialties. Ad on RagingElephantRadio.com. It's no secret about the censorship that big technology companies are practicing as we speak. Are there ways to get around this? For us at Raging Elephants Radio and for you, the Raging Elephants Radio app is the way to do that. It gives us direct communication to you with no middleman. No Facebook, no Google, no Twitter. Raging Elephants Radio and you in direct connection. No interception. Beat the censorship. Download the Raging Elephants Radio app.
Numbers equal power. Spread the word about RagingElephantRadio.com.
Welcome back, Saints and Patriots. He's Pastor Stephen Broden, member of the State Republican Executive Committee, but especially for us, a Raging Elephants Radio contributor. Love having Pastor Broden on. How are you, my brother?
Still standing. When all else fails, stand.
When all else fails. I think it's quite obvious the greater atrocity that the governor of Virginia committed was the statements on, well, as the president put it in the State of the Union, the execution of children outside the womb. I thought that was a perfect word. Of course, the Democrats wanted to pivot to the blackface or the Klan costume, whatever that meant. The question I want to pose, is there going to be some sort of compound impact with all of the problems in Virginia, including with the Lieutenant Governor Fairfax, including with the Attorney General? Will this have any impact at all on the black electorate and the furthering of an exodus away from the Democrat Party? Pastor Broden, what do you think?
Well, possibly. It could, very well. The unfortunate reality is this, is that much of the perspective on what's happening in politics, what's happening in our community, oftentimes flow through the mainstream media, and it is a voice of the progressive movement. So they have a tendency to frame and shape our understanding of what's going on in the world from their predetermined bias. But I think this issue is out in front. I've talked to Bishop Leon Benjamin out of Virginia, and he says, shame on us if we allow this to go away. And so I know that he is rallying his church and rallying his sphere of influence to keep in front those issues infanticide and the blatant insensitivity concerning the blackface presentation. I think they're going at both of them in Virginia out of the black community. So it's just a matter of momentum. Will the media cover their disdain for what has taken place, or will they ignore them? And I think Mark Stein said it so well, that the worst thing that media can do to you is to ignore you altogether. So the question is, what will media do with the growing disdain and anger that's seething in the community right now, based upon what I'm hearing from Bishop Leon Benjamin, that there is an outrage that's happening in the community.
Pastor Broden, I want to get back to the role of the church, especially in Virginia, across the nation, and here in Texas. But one of the criticisms that I've had in the past, when opportunities presented themselves in cultural war victories, such as the non-discrimination ordinance in San Antonio, the non-discrimination ordinance here in Houston and Dallas and in other places, the injection of the neo-morality movement, transgendered bathrooms for kindergartners and the like that was mandated by the Obama administration, that backfired on Democrats. We had a victory here in Houston that was absolutely an ecumenical victory. 61-39, there are not 61% of white evangelicals in Houston, Texas, and the party in each of these instances, the Republican Party, has not exploited these victories. Whenever you and I have ever gone out and we've spoken to an audience, and most of the time, just like it was for me last Friday up in Polk County, the majority are going to be in the audience are going to be white, and they always say, well, not always, but many times, we need to get into the black church. If there was somehow, some way, can you go talk to black pastors, et cetera, et cetera. And when black pastors actually lead on an issue, such as transgender bathrooms, non-discrimination ordinances, the neo-morality movement, the subpoena issuing for sermons, the GOP failed to exploit that and say, hey, guys, we don't want to say necessarily we told you so, but you really naturally, spiritually belong with us. And we really need to continue this type of momentum. We can have even greater victories. So great that I'm happy the bishop is reporting that there's a righteous indignation in the Commonwealth of Virginia, but the party needs to do something because there's the political advantage to have. Pastor Broden?
Oh, absolutely. I think those kinds of opportunity are rare. And I think those who are engaged and understand the necessity for partnering and connecting with the community ought to step forward and align themselves, not after the fact, but during the fact, with the community to help push what is important to them and the agenda that is resonating with them. That hasn't happened. You and I have been pushing party leadership and grassroots leaders to recognize that there's an opportunity, low-hanging fruit, if you will, that's available in our community around the social issues, but it has not produced the kind of response, I think, that would maximize on transforming or loosening, what I call loosening the stranglehold that the Democratic Party has on the black community. So it's really a matter of strategy. It's a matter of insight. It's a matter of wisdom. And sometimes the GOP acts as if it is just, kind of slow. I'm trying to be careful on what I'm saying here. They don't seem to have common sense.
I'm not going to be careful about it. Do they care? Do they really want to do it? Do they understand that, in my point of view, I'm sure in yours and others, and I stated it in front of a crowd on Friday night, the number one priority for the political party, the GOP as it is right now, is to grow the voting base, and it can only be done through racial diversity, just because of the demographics. You just can't keep trying to squeeze blood out of a turnip, more white folks to vote Republican in Texas. There aren't any more, pretty much, that are left. You have to go after communities of color, and these issues should be exploited to the hilt. And right now, Eugene Ralph said it yesterday, I thought perfectly, when emotions are down between election cycles, this is the time when we should be really pouring on, the fire.
Well, absolutely. You and I and Eugene, we're on the same page, and we're seeing the same thing, and we're seeing that the opportunity for movement is not in October and November. The opportunity for movement is now, right now. And that means framing a message, framing a strategy, going into the community, developing relationships. And that's the piece that they don't understand. You have to develop relationships. Go in, develop relationships, and win friends and hearts and minds by demonstrating an authentic interest in the community and an authentic interest in making things happen for the community. That will translate into votes.
All right, but do you think the party wants to do it?
I'm not sure. I think the grassroots, they're with us 100%.
No question about it, because
that's
anything that we've ever done, the grassroots is pretty much anything we've ever done. The grassroots is what's financially supported it, because they see the numbers. We give them the argument, and they're like, it's a no-brainer.
Right. So, yeah, your speaking the other day was because grassroots people see the value and the worth and the significance of your vote, of your voice. Where we run into problems is with the moderates and the power elite within the party. I think that's where the insensitivity is. That's where the money is, obviously, and that's where the impetus for making things happen resides with them, and they are slow, indifferent, or apathetic, or have given up on the black community.
See, I would have thought that as soon as all this came out, RNC top to bottom, Ronna McDaniel, all the way down to county chairman, would have been all over this when this happened in Virginia. It's talking about, see, this is the true nature of the Democratic Party. This is who they've been all along. This is what their history has been since their founding. Spirits don't change. They can try to hide it, but even their policies are extensions of what the founding principles have always been. And it just shows its ugly face right here, right now, even with the black lieutenant governor, Justin Fairfax. Here it is, okay? And I would have thought that the party would have been all over this. Now, I'm wondering, I could be wrong. From your connections in the community, is it really making an impact? Or are they just saying, oh, just another Republican tricks, or, the media is just trying to smear another black man, or the Democratic Party is still our party? What are you hearing on the ground necessarily, let's say, in your precincts?
Well, at this point, I think that there is a kind of I don't know how to read it. I'm not reading it right now. I'm not sensing that there is any response at this point. What I'm seeing is that they're still caught up in the narrative that is produced by the mainstream media. And right now, they're more concerned about Donald Trump, and they are responding to what the media is saying about Donald Trump, as opposed to what is being said about even the infanticide and the blackface. I'm just not seeing a whole lot of response from the usual crowd. It's almost as if they're not wanting to say anything about it.
Well, we have to do something about it, because as you and I know, we did the research on it. I mean, it's not hard to find. You can just Google it. The largest, the top cable channel that receives the largest black audience, the cable channel that receives the largest black audience is MSNBC. That should tell you a lot. That's more than BET, more than MTV, more than any of the Christian networks, more than the one cable channel that draws the largest black audience in the United States is MSNBC, not CNN, certainly not Fox. Something has to be done about that, and that drives home your point about where they're getting their information and how they're still being oppressed politically, intellectually, and spiritually.
Exactly, and it's a narrative that's being created for them, and so any response will be through the lens of the major media, and the major media right now is anti-Trump, anti-Republican, anti-conservatism, anti-Constitution, anti-America. And so that narrative is being pumped into the community by MSNBC and the liberal media, to the extent that I think blacks are somewhat mesmerized and are controlled by that message. We've got to break through that. And the way you break through that is you provide an alternative, you step in, you develop relationships, you connect with the leadership, with the activists, and you find out what's important to them, and you try to connect with them based upon what their agenda is. That's not happening.
Finally, Pastor Broden, on this particular issue, what does it, for you, from your point of view, what does this tell us about the Democratic Party? Not just in Virginia. What does it reveal? I mean, I know I expressed a few seconds ago what I think, but with us both knowing the history of the party and this happening the way it did, in the most unexpected fashion, following the wickedness of what happened in New York, and then the real atrocity of the comments of the governor on public airwaves, absolutely advocating for execution of a child outside of the womb, and then of course the blackface and the whole 9 yards. What does this tell us about the Democratic Party, about what it is in its soul and in its spirit?
I tell you, if anyone is curious as to what is happening in America and why we are in the place that we are, a divided nation, polarized, with a moral rot that is pervasive across this nation, the source of that is the Democratic Party. It is a demonic entity within our communities, pushing a narrative, pushing a philosophy, an idea that's antithetical to everything that is Americanism. Everything that is biblical, the Judeo-Christian ethic, is under assault by these people, and they are replacing, through political correctness, our heritage as a nation, the traditions and values that we've had as a nation, is all being usurped by this entity called the Democratic Party, the progressive movement in America, which has partnership with all of the major institutions that influence us. They are being influenced by them, and they are influencing us. Business, academia, media, government, the family, and the church. All these institutions that influence us as a nation are being influenced by the progressive philosophy and ideas that are being pushed upon us and foisted upon us by the Democratic Party. The rot that we see, the moral evil that is pervasive among us, from transgenderism, same-sex marriage, gender fluidity, abortion on demand, euthanasia, all of it is being supported by that particular party. And those who support that party are part of an anti-God system that is destroying our nation and destroying our Constitution and the founding principles that made this nation great.
Oh,
that's what I see.
Preach it.
That's what I see.
Lord have mercy.
That's what I see, and that's what I know is happening. And if people don't wake up and start pushing back against this darkness that is enveloping our nation through these people, then we deserve what we get. The time for action is now. The time to push back is now. That means time, talent, and treasure. Stop sitting on your asinine charismas. Get off of your complaining couches and get out in the public square and start pushing back against these institutions, starting with the Equality Act, which Nancy Pelosi said is her number one priority in this legislation, not number one, but her top priority in this legislative process is to get the Equality Act passed. And if that passed, it will act as a means of justifying and ratifying and protecting homosexual lifestyle in America, because they will attach it to the 1964 Civil Rights Act, and it will become a protective class. And it has language in it that opens the door for for protecting bestiality and pedophilia. If we don't wake up, recognize that while we're over here having victory laps around Donald Trump, they're still working to undermine our values, our morality, our religious heritage in America. You ought to have me back on, and we can talk about the Equality Act at another time. I just came from Washington, D.C., did a press conference there on the issue, and tried to raise concern that this, if it passes, it will undermine the Religious Freedom Restoration Act of 1993, and it will usurp and nullify our First Amendment rights. Christians will not be able to speak out against homosexuality at all. This is a dangerous piece of legislation, and most of us don't know what it is.
Okay, well, text me and let me know if you're available tomorrow, man, because if this bill is just being introduced and you just got back from Washington, Devil City, and briefed the press on it, then I certainly and the rest of RER Nation need to get a first-hand account of what happened, and certainly with the language.
You bet. It's not being introduced; it's being reintroduced. It was defeated in 2017 in the Senate. But there's a reason to believe that there's a number of Republicans that are going to join in on it. Right now, it has over 200 co-sponsors in the House, and there's reason to believe that Murkowski, Collins, and maybe even Romney, with a few other moderate Republican senators, will sign it, and it will become veto-proof, even though I know Donald Trump will veto it, but it may become veto-proof. So we need to talk about it. We need to sing about it. We need to get out and fight it as much as we can. The time for stopping it is right now.
Pray and fast about it, Saints and Patriots. We may need an altar call up in here. I'll talk to you tomorrow, Pastor Broden. I'm completely out of town. The Lord Jesus bless you.
Right. Bless you. Bless you.
Pastor Stephen Broden, member of the State Republican Executive Committee and also Texas Black Republican PAC. Oh, I did find it, Saints and Patriots. I knew there was another fantastic chart that I wanted to show you, and I'll get into more of this tomorrow about the reason why healthcare costs as much as healthcare costs. Remember, I was showing, I said, hey, I got this one more graph I wanted to show you. There it is. I got it pointed out right there. See, and gray line is Medicaid, and then Medicare, and total federal health care expenditure, and then total private health care expenditure, and then total national health care expenditure. All that is in the billions. And as you can see where the red arrow points, everything was pretty spiffy. Everything was nice and cool until 1965, when government decided to interfere with health care in the United States. I'll put all the charts together again tomorrow. We'll go through them again tomorrow so that everyone can see precisely that the reason we can't afford health insurance in the United States of America is because government is already in health care, that the United States of America is already, as Bill Maher says, a quasi-socialist country. And the idea that Democrats wouldn't vote for more of it, well, that would be very foolish. They have the capacity to do just that. They are serious about the socialism thing. And when they're talking about getting rid of the entire private health insurance market, they say because that's going to drive down the cost of health insurance, health care, if you're not going to have insurance. The reason the health care costs are up is because of government-run socialist ideological programs. And there was the chart to prove it right there. I mean, I'll show it to you again before I say goodbye, just so that you can see it. I showed you all the charts, but there's one that I was missing. I couldn't find it out during the commercial and went and got it. But there it is right there. You can see it right there. Everything goes up parabolic at 1965 when Medicare and Medicaid got started. And you have to understand what Medicaid and Medicare, how Medicare especially works. Because Medicare is the one that really is the killer because of how it works. maybe tomorrow I'll get a chance to play some audio, some video for you. I can explain it to you, but if there's someone that's smarter that can do it for you, explain if you don't know how Medicare works and how it really is a ripoff and how it really is wealth redistribution, how it really is socialism, a flawed ideology, a flawed concept, and got us to the point where this nation, the United States of America, is literally borrowing money for national defense. That's where we are in this nation, and it's primarily because of these champion programs, championed by the likes of Bernie Sanders and Weepy Schumer and the Wicked Witch of the West and Bill Maher. And I'm out of here, Saints and Patriots. I'm Apostle Claver T. Kamau-Imani, the Christian politician, your ultra-conservative soul brother. See you tomorrow at 12 noon Texas time, the only time that matters. My friends under the pink dome call me the Purifier, and I like it. From Houston, may the Lord Jesus bless you. Oh, I got my Texas cap back on. Can you believe it? And may the Lord Jesus bless the future independent sovereign republic of Texas.